2014 Subaru Impreza cruise control isn't working, let's diagnose it. First step in all diagnosing is to verify the customer's concern. I'm over 25 miles per hour, I press the main cruise button, it comes up on the dash, but when I press set, nothing happens. Second step in diagnosing is to look for relevant DTCs. There was nothing pertaining to the cruise control, so no help there. There's also no warning lights on the dash other than the low washer fluid. All the controls on the steering wheel, including the horn, go through the clock spring. Now my initial guess is that the clock spring could have an issue, but I tested all the other controls and even the horn and everything works, so it's highly unlikely the clock spring. That leads me to believe that it's just the set button that doesn't work. To find out, I'll use a scan tool to look at live data, also known as PIDs. You can see it registers the set button being pressed. I also verified the resume switch works and the cancel switch isn't stuck on. That means it's not an issue with the control buttons on the steering wheel. I noticed a PID for memorized cruise speed. I took it for another test drive, and when I tried to set the cruise, it stayed at 0 miles per hour. This PID never changes, meaning it never has a memorized cruise. I went to service information and followed the diagnostic procedure for the cruise system. This leads me to retrieving what Subaru calls cancel codes, which are codes specific to the cruise control system and separate from standard DTCs. This is where you need a high-end scan tool. Code readers, cheap OBD readers, and even low to mid-range scan tools won't have access to these cancel codes. To get a cancel code, I need to be over 25 miles per hour and attempt to enable cruise. In the ECM, under Special Functions, select Cancel Codes. I get a number 12 stop and brake switch. Here's where you have to go rogue, because if you follow the diagnostic flowchart, you're going to waste an insane amount of time. You'll have to remove trim panels and pull back carpet to access the ECM, do a resistance test between the ECM and brake switch, and after all that, it's going to have you replace the ECM, which isn't going to fix the problem, and you'll be out $1,000. Instead, I'll use DYVO and test the brake switch. Don't waste your time by testing the input of a switch. Always start with the output. If the output is good, you don't need to test the input. The brake switch is 2 switches in one, the stoplight switch and the brake switch. I'll backprobe the output of the stoplight switch first. Without pressing the brake pedal, there should be no power. When pressing the brake pedal, you should get power. Look how easy this is to test with DYVO. No power, power. That part of the switch passes, so I'll move my back probe to the output of the brake switch. This one should work opposite. Without pressing the brake pedal, I should have power. But look, I'm not pressing the pedal and I don't have power. Then press it and power should go away. But instead, that's when I get power. I just diagnosed the brake switch is defective. There's another really cool test I can do to verify my diagnosis. I'm still back probed into pin 2. All I have to do is move my test lead to the ground channel. Notice how the PID changes? I'm tricking the ECM into thinking the switch is good. In 10 seconds, I verified the wire to the ECM and the ECM itself are both good without having to do any resistance tests or access the ECM. This trick lets me test the cruise control before replacing the brake switch to make sure there's no other issues. I'm over 25 miles per hour. I'm gonna hit the main cruise button. That comes up on the dash. And now I'm gonna go ahead and hit the set button. And you can see set is on the instrument cluster for the first time, which means cruise control is working. My foot is off of the accelerator pedal. We've got our set speed, so cruise control is working. If I disconnect DYVO here, that should cancel my cruise control because that's gonna simulate that the brake pedal is being pressed. So I'm gonna do that, pull that out, and immediately set turned off, canceled cruise control. I can confidently replace the brake switch and know that will fix the problem. There is a note in the replacement procedure that talks about an updated brake switch. You can also find a campaign bulletin on this. The updated switch changed from a one-touch type to a double nut. This updated switch comes with a new inline connector, washer, and lock nut. You can physically see the difference between the two switches here. I've replaced the brake switch with the updated parts, cruise control is working, and the vehicle is fixed.